Did you know that resilience is more about personal growth than quick success? Let me explain that a little bit. When we think of resilience, we are looking into one's ability to face trauma, to face stressors, to face anything that could be difficult in one's life, and being able to get the skills, gets to get ways for you to be able to get back on your feet um, after those difficult times. Now, that came through the fact that I have this YouTube channel, and as I want to create more content, I know that I've created hundreds of videos, but sometimes it's still always the idea that I need to do one more video. I want to. That's something I want to do, but I need to be resilient because it does take time, and sometimes there are other things I would maybe like to do or that I have to do. But being able to be consistent with my YouTube channel, that that requires resilience, and that is the topic of today for this video. Because think about it, if you cannot improve your resilience, so what happens if you can't improve your resilience? That means that you're giving your personal power away, because anything that can come to you, difficulties, stress, and so on, then you'll be falling down. You're trying to get back on your feet. It takes time, takes energy. But think about it. If you can build your resilience, you can get back on your feet faster. So let's see if I can share with you some stories that can relate to resilience, and maybe it will apply to you, and see how it can be easy to build resilience in our lives. So the first one I was thinking was about the fact that we're all students of life. We have to learn for work. If we're a teenager, we need to learn in high school. If we're in university or college level, or even in as an apprentice, we need to learn new things so that we can either get a diploma, get an apprenticeship, get to a place where we can tell the world, I know about this topic. It is not easy. Well, in school, we use tests and we use labs and reports and so on. But in the real world, it's exactly the same thing. If you work for a marketing firm, you are asked to look at what are the productivity indicators. Then you try to figure out at the end, did it work the way you wanted? If you are a student in a school, you have maybe lessons to learn. You also have to create, I don't know, essays, do tests, reports, and it all depends at the end how well you do them. Now, the other thing is, once you try once, do you actually look for feedback so that you can learn for the next time? So, resilience is not just something that is given to us, it is for us to find the skills so that when something happens to us, we can say, okay, yes, I've been through this before. I can certainly get back on my feet faster. An example for that would be as a parent. As a parent, the amazing thing is things happen with kids. Our children are growing faster. We have new situations, new learning happening all the time. But we still love them because we're committed for their growth. We're committed to make sure that they are succeeding and they have all the tools needed to be successful in life. And that works the same. So if you don't have kids yet, maybe you have an animal at home. If you have a new little puppy and the new little puppy is peeing everywhere and chewing shoes, okay, well, it's a little one, but you can train your dog. You can train your cat to go to the cat litter. You can train some birds to say a few sounds. So when you train them, they realize that, oh, there's something happening. Let's see what I can do to make the owner happier, and that's what we do. And as you mentioned, we do that sometimes. Sometimes we are surrounded with people that they want us to work harder for them, longer hours, and then at some point we build the resilience so we can work harder, but also we build the resilience to say no. At some point, if you're not interested anymore, it is fair to say no. But sometimes you have to go through quite a bit to learn that it is okay to say that no. And that is to build your resilience to make sure that you can get stronger for your life. And by the way, if you are enjoying this this video so far, I'm going to put a link in the description below on for a free worksheet on momentum. So when you are building resiliency, you are building momentum so that you're getting closer to where you want to be. For example, I'm putting together, in this example, a PDF file for you. So it is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I did not know how to do this. I learned creating PDF files. Now I needed to find a format and a platform to do so. I've been working to set up a PDF file for downloads for you for many, many, many months. And it's just starting. Why? Because I needed to build confidence. I needed to make sure that I would feel comfortable. And every time I would learn something new, I would build resilience so that I can be there for you as much as I can. So I've got my first momentum PDF files, and it's the first video that I'm sharing that with you. Isn't it amazing? And I'm glad you're part of this. I was trying to see what are other work that examples where I had to build resilience. And I would say that when I was a geologist, I would say that was a place where I had to learn quite a bit. Because as a geologist, when you need to do mapping and you work 5, 10, 12 kilometers in a day, where you need to figure out, okay, what is the geology of an area? What is there a potential for an ore body or for a gold showing? These were all tricky questions. And the resilience was that every year we had a new project and we're looking at the processes to make sure that we'll get to know as much as we could on a property to know if we wanted to continue investing or not. And I learned a lot from there. And it's the same thing with us as humans. We have, for example, we meet new friends, we're part of a new clubs, we get to know how people are, we're learning from them. And then every time we do that, for example, my Toastmasters, when I create speeches, my speeches get better and better. I get feedback, but I'm considering feedback to make sure that my speeches get better. So it is almost 3 years now, 3 years in the making. So it's a long time. So that means that it's not, I didn't get better giving a speech for the team, for the club overnight. It's been years. And every time I do a speech, I can say, oh, there's one more thing I can do this time. Or I get amazing comments from my teammates in the club. So see, when you're part of a team, that's the best way for us to grow. And I think it helps us building confidence, building resiliency, but also create momentum so we can achieve where we want to go. So these are all interesting examples that fit the idea of building resiliency in our lives. I was looking at oh yes, if you think of relationships, when you have a relationship, sometimes in a committed relationship where you want to grow with your partner. When you're committed and you want to grow with your partner, you see that you are building the capacity to be resilient. Because when you're with a partner, someone who is right for you, someone who is challenging you in the right way, you are growing because you are helping each other to see what's best about our lives. And when you do that, you help each other to grow as a person. So resiliency is the fact that we are growing as a person through difficulties. So when you're part of a couple, it's not easy. There's situations that happen, and you know that if you're committed and you're resilient, growth will happen. And we always hope that the growth of the two individual will be in pair, so that this is a team that will last for a long time. Sometimes people grow apart because they try to be resilient, but then they realize that sometimes maybe that's not what's best for them. And it is sad, but in some ways, it is important at some point to realize that when it is not good for you, you need to build the resilience to say, no, it's time for me to go. Same thing in business. Many people in the business, they start a company, they start an adventure, they start a new project, and they think it's the best thing ever. And sometimes down the road, those projects and businesses, they go amazingly well. Sometimes people have after to do After 6 months, they have to realize that that was not the best idea. And sometimes the best thing to do, even though you're building resilience, is to realize that as part of learning to be resilient, to learn from difficulties that we have and from stress, we also have to decide, okay, is this time for me to stop and move on? And I think that's also part of being resilient at wanting what's best for you. And that's not the easiest thing. And there you go. Parenting, my YouTube channel. There you go. Relationships, stories as a student, as a worker in geology. These are all examples that share with us that we can be resilient. We can learn to be more resilient. And for that, we need support. And I hope that you have people around you that are there with your well being at heart. On this, I have a call to action for you. I want you to write in the comment below one, one aspect of life that you've grown and you've built resiliency. I want to know what you've built, what you are better at, and what is the benefit of this resiliency. For example, I'm resilient at being the best parent as I can. It's not always easy, but I know that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, of the month, I know that I'm the best parent I can be, and I'm changing for the better as we go along. If I can do it, you can do it too. I will. So thank you very much for this. I will put here on the upper here a link to another video that will guide you on this idea that we are a leader of our lives and we want what's best for us and people around us. Keep working well, be resilient, and I'll see you in the next video.